Let's introduce the wiring and using of AWD119 addressable I/O module and the beam smoke detector. First, program the address of the addressable I/O module. Addressable I/O module will occupy two addresses. When we use the programmer to program the addresses, we only need to program one address, and it will automatically occupy the programmed address and the next address. For example, when programming address 001, it will automatically occupy two addresses, 001 and 002, which represent the input and output of the device. Next is the wiring of the beam smoke detector. The two wires D1 and D2 will be connected to the backup power supply AUX of the addressable I/O module, which is input 24V for the power supply. These two wires are fault wires, which are part of the input, and will be connected to the input part of the addressable I/O module later. This blue wire is the fire alarm connection wire, which will be connected in parallel to the negative pole of the addressable I/O module input. Before wiring, you need to prepare an addressable panel or 24V power input. We have prepared an addressable fire alarm panel. These two wires are drawn from the panel, which are 24V output loop out. The red wire is positive and the blue wire is negative. Next, we will do the wiring. Before wiring, make sure that the addressable panel and the devices are not powered on. First, connect the 24V power wires drawn from the panel to the loop-in port of the addressable I/O module. Then connect the power input of the beam smoke detector to the positive and negative poles of the backup power supply of the addressable I/O module. These two fault wires need to be connected to the input terminal of the addressable I/O module, and at the same time, connect the fire alarm input wires to the negative pole of the addressable I/O module input in parallel. Because we need to make sure that the beam smoke detector can enter both the fire alarm or fault state, it is necessary to connect the negative pole of the fault wire and the negative pole of the fire alarm wire to the negative pole of the addressable I/O module input. In this way, the wiring between the addressable I/O module and the beam smoke detector is done. After wiring, turn on the panel and set the address of the beam smoke detector. Because the beam smoke detector is part of the smoke detectors, it is an input device for the addressable I/O module, and we need to set the beam smoke detector as active input. Next is the device registration after wiring. Because the addressable I/O module is a device occupying two addresses, It is displayed as default 001 and 002 on the device search page. The beam smoke detector is an input device and does not have an address. It will not be shown at the panel. Because we connect the beam smoke detector, which has both fire alarm and fault alarm functions. So first, adjust the input to active input fault alarm. Monitor module fire. As for the output device, it should be adjusted according to the specific output device used. If the addressable strobe sounder is connected, the output must be changed to active output, control module sound. Press Save after setting.